on StreamYard.
There we go. Going live on StreamYard. We should get the signal on Webinar Jam that we're live here. There we go. Live everywhere, I think.
We're live. All right. Good stuff.
Phenomenal. We're live on Webinar Jam right now. Fantastic. We've got people starting to trickle in there. Love to see that. On the StreamYard, it should be live on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the place. Let us know if you can hear us on audio. If you can jump into the comments on StreamYard or on Facebook or YouTube if you're watching and say that, then awesome. That'll be really helpful for us to make sure we're coming across loud and clear. If not, we can upload the recording later. But good seeing everybody here. Let's see. We've got 14 people so far jumping in. Tony, Francis, Christy, Mark, Linda, Alita, Michael, Melissa. All right, guys. Keep on coming. Fantastic.
Somebody give us a shout. Let us know you can hear us.
Yeah, jump in the chat there. While you're doing that, too, say where you're watching from. Obviously, we've been trying to help you guys team up together throughout this whole thing as well. So make sure to say where you're watching from. And then, too, if you want, put your biggest takeaway from the challenge. I always love to get that feedback, real-time feedback here. That's what we do it for, is to help you guys out. That inspires us and inspires other people to know, like, hey, I'm getting traction here. That seeing those even small wins goes a really, really long way. So
yeah. Awesome.
There we go.
Thanks to Francis, Tony, Mark, and Roger, all saying audio is good. So I think we're good on that one, Matt. Good stuff.
Roger said freezing Minneapolis.
Yep. Yeah, Melissa's saying good as well. Danielle's in from DC. Let's see. Francis driving. Excellent. We like to hear that in Florida. Awesome. Roger, yeah, freezing Minneapolis. It happens. It's fine. Linda's in Alexandria. Francis, motivation indeed. Sunny South Florida. Welcome, Kamali. Tony's South Jersey. Cool. I know we got it. We are with a nice big spread here. Apollo Beach, Florida. Stan the man. Formerly from a strange place called DC. Still strange.
When you say Stan the man, I think Stan Musial here. Today's opening day, so go
gotcha. Stanley's his usual nickname. He loves it. So yeah, snowing on opening day. I know. Go figure. What can you do?
Love it. Nice. To kind of yeah, and Tom, I know one thing I was going to ask you as well. Oh, the Go Cubs! Roger, I'll take it. Friendly rivalry. All right. I've got
that's in St. Louis. So
oh yeah. No. Well, I've got a lot of family and friends in Chicago, so definitely Wrigley's a phenomenal park. Really, really fun time. Been a couple times. So
classic.
Nice. I was going to ask Tom really quick. How was the challenge with your son? Did you have a chance to incorporate him after the driving portion, or was curious like where you took it from there?
Yeah, and we're still finishing up because tennis schedule, and then
this spring.
And he took bail as well. But that's all right. It's good. Yeah, like anything else, you work around your schedule, the kids' schedule, everything. You got to squeeze this in. That's one of the big. It's not really a hidden lesson. I mean, we've been kind of really outright about it. Is if you're going to make this happen, everybody's busy. We know that. I'm busy. You're busy. We're all busy. Every single person's busy in a different way. Nobody has the time, but those that actually make the time succeed with it, as we're seeing very well just in a week-long challenge. And so, again, one of the things what we've wanted to do with this is lay the groundwork, lay a framework so that you can take it and continue to run with it, or I guess in this case, drive with it would be more accurate. And that's what it's all about. So I think that's been pretty cool. Matt, I know I've had a lot of people thanking me for hosting you. I want to thank you for putting all the effort into this, because it makes it fun and exciting for people. And you've given an enormous amount of information that this is event number 4 now in a week.
Yeah, this has been a blast. And we're trying to just give as much value as possible. What fuels me is stuff like this. Like I see Tony in here jumping in. Igartua, Tony. Hopefully I pronounced your last name right. This challenge has been amazing, very helpful. I have a motivated seller. I'm looking into it. That's awesome. That's what we're looking for right there, man. So to see people like truly changing things, truly getting the traction here, like that has been our goal throughout this whole challenge. So that's what gets me fired up.
Pun definitely intended. And yeah, and gang, we want to hear it obviously doesn't end this week. Half the time you're just opening up opportunities that might take you a week to close. You might be settling in 30 days or 45 days from now. we want to hear about it, right? If it came from this challenge, we want to know, because it's awesome to hear this stuff. So don't go quiet on us. I always find it weird when people will tell me a year later, like, oh, Tom, something you taught me absolutely revolutionized me. You got me started. I'm going, hey, how come you didn't tell me?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice to know these things.
Yeah. That's one thing I'll wrap up to. I'll share my email. And that is one thing, like when you land your first deal, reach out to me. Like I would love, we literally interview hundreds of people on our YouTube channel. You'll see we've got over 1,000 videos on our YouTube channel now, or somewhere around there. And a good chunk of them are people talking about how they've landed deals, how they've used DealMachine, all of that. So if you're ever open to being in the spotlight there, hey, we'd love to feature you and give you some local shine in your market too. So yeah, please keep in touch with us.
Fantastic. So, well, we're in good shape. So Matt, what's in store for this final day of the challenge?
Yeah. So one thing I want to really start off with, and again, if this is your first time on here, or if you're watching a replay, down, weeks down the road, Matt Camp with DealMachine over here. I'll go through a recap of the first two as part of this, part of this training, and then we've got a third part of new information to really help you continue to succeed from here and really build on the foundation that you've built over the last 6-7 days now. But the first thing I want to say before all of that is to pat yourself on the back. Like you want to, and maybe take a deep breath, because like a lot of you guys, this is a sprint. Like this is a 7-day dead sprint. What you've gone through? Like you've made it. You're going through the finish line right here, at least through these first 7 days. But this should be just the start of something much, much bigger. Like the whole goal of this was to get you inspired, get you going, really give you that playbook to go land that first deal and many deals after that. If you've done deals before, hey, this could be an entirely new channel, new approach, new strategy for you to land the best deals you've ever landed. But that's been, the last 7 days, I've been so inspired to see the action that's taken place. It's really, really cool to like give you guys the playbook and lay out everything and see you run with it. And even DealMachine as a company, like whether you use DealMachine or not, we're a tool to make you more successful, but you still got to be active and take initiative and get out there. So to see you have gone through this, to see my email inbox getting bombarded throughout this whole thing with people, whether they're asking questions or turning in the homework or celebrating small wins, like that has been really, really inspiring to see. TractionChallenge.com. Again, if you are watching, this on social media, you got to sign up there to get all the replays and all that from this. If you're watching on the webinar already, fantastic, or Webinar Jam already, fantastic. Like you're part of this challenge. You're going to get the replay from today, the past replays, and, keep in touch, throughout this whole thing. So I want to say, just to begin with, like it was really, really cool to go through this experience with you guys. So,
Matt, hang on. There's a couple of comments that popped in here that I think are worth, they kind of punctuate what you're saying. Stanley mentioning, he says, the challenge has forced me to make a weekly schedule to bring some sanity to our lives.
Yep. There we go.
How that works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, that was kind of our goal with this whole challenge too, is to help you, the first week, obviously these 7 days, it's a sprint. It's going to be a little bit of growing pains. It should be exhausting and challenging in a lot of ways, but it also kind of opens your eyes and helps you build this into your schedule and helps you do the right activities. So that way, if you consistently do this, it's a numbers game. If you consistently do this, if you consistently do the first training of building a really, really powerful list, and then, the second training of marketing to that list and being able to go through and really know how to get in touch with them. And then the third training, which today we're going to talk through how to never let a lead fall through the cracks, how to make extremely confident offers. And then, we're going to wrap up with a huge grand prize giveaway here. So make sure to stick around. You have to be on live to win that grand prize. So make sure to stick around through the whole thing. But excited to show that with you guys, to say like, hey, if you do those 3 phases consistently, you build this as a part of your life, like you are going to succeed in this business. So that's a great thing to see.
I mean, we've wanted to, I would kind of maybe put some sort of quote, or like popping an idea out. I would say, you got to fit this into your rhythm. Everyone's got a rhythm to your life, whether you realize it or not, whether you think you do, whether you admit to it or not. There's a rhythm to what your day does, what your week does, what a month does, right? There's a certain rhythm, and you got to make sure you inject some time for your real estate business. So this challenge kind of pattern interrupts what your existing rhythm is, forces you to do something that now you can make a consistent habit as you go. And so I'm looking at Roger Schultz's comment here saying, this challenge broke the ice on cold calling for me. It was
Nice.
also great. It was also a great accountability factor to keep me building in a busy work week. Absolutely, right? You're getting a new rhythm that you can insert into your existing rhythm. And yeah, sometimes you just need a nice breaker to be able to move ahead forcefully.
Yeah. One thing, and Tom, I know you shared this out over email, and I won't read the whole thing, but one thing that was super inspiring to see a comment of a personal story was Mark came through and had mentioned that, hey, this pushed him out of his comfort zone. He drove around, started driving for dollars, and he started doing it, and he really hesitated. He was like, hey, I don't know if this is for me, and he went as far as to like stop the car after getting started a little bit, and he persevered. He pushed through. He said, hey, I'm going to complete this, and was super proud of himself for doing that, as he should be. And he's following through. And he said, like, word for word, this challenge has already transformed my life in a positive way. He's still anxious. He's still got, learning to do. He still has to push through and keep going. But this is a great way to again, create a memory that will last a lifetime, is what, quoting Mark here. So stuff like that is what gets us fired up.
Awesome. So yeah, Tony's agreeing with the same things. I feel the same way too, Roger. It definitely did break the ice on cold calling, and it feels really good to see the little wins. And that's an interesting thing, right? Those little wins, they add up. They get you moving. They let you know it's possible. That weird little thing happens when they start to stack up in your mind. The next thing you know, you just unleash and move forward.
Yep. So, and I know we've talked about this on each of the trainings, but just talking about right now, if you can move forward, implement this, the playbook that we're giving you, and if, again, you can rewatch the replays, keep those, bookmark those, so that way you can always have that to be able to continue to train yourself on this stuff. But right now is just such a great opportunity to be able to build wealth, in any kind of downturn, in any kind of recession. You hear that word out there all the time. Any kind of uncertainty, we're just more valuable as a real estate investor and as a wholesaler. We bring tools to the table that people need now more than ever, like, speed to be able to sell quickly, convenience to be able to sell, now and off market and not have to move anything or not have to prepare anything. And, cash, you're bringing that to the table as well, especially if you're wholesaling. So these things can solve problems for people. There are more people out there that have problems to solve in times like this. So that was our goal, is to help you guys step up, take action, find those people, and start listening to them and start solving their problems. So it was awesome to be able to see people take to that message and start acting on it this week. I will mention the challenge, how we laid this out over these last 7 days. It was to solve this issue. Is most investors, even if they know that they're more valuable, even if they know they want to get into real estate, that they know real estate's the most powerful wealth generating tool out there ever created. Hey, where can they get started, or why don't they get started? Rather, they still don't know how or where to find a great deal. That was what this challenge was all about. The last 7 days was breaking down that playbook. And where we even have any credibility on this issue, DealMachine, our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing. Our goal is to give you technology to help you get started and go find that first deal, and many after it, 100 after it, if that's what your ambition is. We're really proud to say we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off market deals. People have used it to do over 10,000 deals in every single state, on Android, on Apple, mobile, desktop. We've got you covered. So, what we pulled this playbook from was from those 10,000 people, from the Ryan Haywoods of the world, who did this in his own 30-day challenge. 17 days it took him to get his first deal. So keep going after this. Keep out there. You're on the right path. He did 72 deals after that in a year, which is wild. Did 400 deals in the last 3 years since then with his wife and a small team in St. Joseph, Missouri. So it's the Ryan Haywoods of the world that have just gone on a rocket ship. It's the Cody Serzers of the world, who he is from San Diego, or originally from Milwaukee, living in San Diego, wanted to virtually invest in Milwaukee, used our virtual driving for dollars to do that, and did 2 deals in his first month, and then 3 to 4 deals per month in Milwaukee currently. So taken from what he's doing. Matthew Weaver, another example of that. So if you're investing in a market that you're not based out of, or even a country you're not living in, hey, this is a tool and a playbook and a challenge that can help you do that and execute on that. Matthew's another example of that. And then finally, Patrick, it's people like this who, they're somebody who, he was sleeping in his truck and he went and changed his life with wholesaling, with real estate, and using DealMachine to do so by doing 150K in wholesale fees in the first 10 months. So that's where we're pulling this playbook from. A quick recap of the last 7 days. We've done 3 live trainings. So, doing one today, this is the last final one going to that third phase. Again, the first one was all about building your list. The second one was all about marketing your list. The third one is all about following through, making offers, and closing deals. We've also given away, by the end of this today, we will have given away over $3,400 in free stuff, free prizes. So that's really cool to kind of try to give back to you guys, to help motivate you guys, help hold you accountable, because the people who stuck with this, the people who executed on this, the people who got out there, the people who are on live right now and dedicating their time and their day to this, they're the ones who are benefiting from yes, the giveaways, all this free stuff, but then, hey, the real prize is doing a deal after this. We want to give you those tools, give you the foundation to go out there and go do that first deal. So, again, you got to stick around today. You got to be on live to claim that grand prize. We had a good handful entry, so really excited to see who wins that one. But wanted to make sure you guys knew, like, hey, we're giving back as much as we can there. Now, Tom, did you have anything to add there before I get into this first giveaway?
No, let's get right down to it. I'm excited to see who wins.
Awesome. Yeah. So this one was based on the homework. So again, we did a day 1 training, homework, and a giveaway live last time. This one, we did a homework assignment, did another $800 giveaway. So this was an entire free year of DealMachine starter and $100 going towards skip tracing, mail, all the marketing goodies. So that way you're like, hey, I'm ready to go. I've got the tech. I've got the marketing budget. I can get out there and go do a deal and many after that. So this was based on your homework assignment, completing that. This is for the people who actually got out there and hustled here. So looking at this, the homework was, hey, go out there. You don't have to use DealMachine, but we try to make it way easier for you to execute on by giving you technology to help you do so, to help you build that list and market to sellers. So we gave you a link, say, hey, here's your 7-day free trial. We said, hey, go build your list of 100 driving for dollars leads. So the homework was, that was the real homework, was, first was build that list, right? You gotta have that list of properties, that list of leads, and to be able to act on them, which again, we'll do a quick recap for you guys, one final recap of that training. And I'll blow through that one because, we've done it a couple times now. And then finally it was, okay, now that you've got that, you need to complete marketing outreach. And we talked through a 2-pronged strategy. We talked through, having short-term outreach and long-term outreach, how those two play together to give you the best chance for success, the best chance to get in front of sellers. And, that meant, like, hey, whoever takes action on this, that's how you're going to submit the homework, is show us that you are actually reaching out to people and doing the homework, committing to taking action first, leading with action. So our day 7, $800 plus giveaway winner. And again, at the end, we're going to do the grand prize giveaway. This one, super, super excited to announce. Drum roll, please. We have Roger. There we go. Hey, Roger Schultz. I see you're on here, Roger. Congratulations, man.
Hey, fingers were crossed. They worked, Roger.
There you go. Oh, fingers crossed. I see that.
Type fingers crossed into the chat.
That's awesome. Well, hey, you did something right. I mean, you earned it too. Like, you put in the work. He actually, I went back, and once he was randomly selected, I looked at his email. He went through, he did this with his kiddos. He's like balancing work with some kids that I think they had a cold. They were, they're under the weather, and he's still getting out there. He's figuring all this out. He's being able to integrate this into his life. So made no excuses, got out there, and good job, Roger, man. Congratulations. We'll be in touch after this to have our support team set you up with all the free stuff. So phenomenal job, man. Roger. There you go. even for being a Cubs fan, we'll still hook you up. So, all right. Awesome. Started off there. Tom, you have anything else to add before we jump into the recap? I'll go quickly since you can review the replays of these first 2 weeks and get the details there.
No, let's get right down to it.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So with that in mind, day 1. So again, this was all focused on driving for dollars, on getting in your car, looking for the most motivated sellers, because, hey, you're finding rundown properties. You're finding properties that have the tarp on the roof, the gutters falling off, the board up windows, broken windows. They're clearly vacant. or it's got a little more subtle of a hint that, hey, for whatever reason, this person or this property owner just isn't wanting to keep up with the property or isn't able to. It might be anywhere from a tired landlord to, hey, this is a vacant house that is just sitting there. So again, you're looking for physical distress because that's the top indicator out of any potential motivator out there, the top indicator that they could be an interested seller. And then also, hey, this is the least competitive lead out there because you've gone out, you built this list that no one else has. You've earned this list. You didn't just pull a list from somewhere that takes 5 minutes. Like, this has a barrier to entry that you hopped over and blew past and built a great list of leads that are again 100 leads, because that number 100 is really the tipping point for where we see people stick with this, build momentum, start to get traction, start to talk to people that are interested, and keep going from there. So Roger, you're welcome, man. You earned it. So I love to see that in the chat. So with that kind of context in mind, what we went through, we jumped into DealMachine. Here, if I can do this here one last time, guys, just to do one more recap here. Jumped into DealMachine. We went in. You can see let me zoom in here for you if I can. All the little properties around me, all the black dots, those are all properties that you can see in real life. Be able to match up what you're seeing in real life to the phone or to the computer. Again, obviously I'm showing this on desktop, but the mobile app looks very similar. Just squeeze down onto this phone here, and the mobile app locks onto your location. So as you're driving around, as you're driving down Itasca Street right here, the map would move with me just like I'm driving GPS. And then you can see all these black dots around me. And if I click on a black dot anywhere, hey, I can see more information about that house. I can look at more data about that house. When last sold, what was the sale price, equity percentage, assessed value, mortgage information. Has it been on the MLS recently? Square footage, zoning, all kinds of stuff. And when you see a house that's run down in real life and you see it on here, just hit add lead and move on to the next one. So we kept teaching you how to build a list quickly. You'll see a little green tail pop up behind you that's tracking your routes. So that way you can look at the map and make sure you don't ever double back on your routes. Make sure you plan really, really well on where to drive, how to drive, or what areas to drive. And that line turns yellow at 6 months and red at a year. So that way hey, it's been a while since I've driven over here, over there. Let me redrive that. So, you've got all that on the map there, right there for you. Through that, we talked about, hey, make sure to add tags and add pictures to the houses. So when you actually, click on a lead, you hit add lead, you'll see an opportunity to add tags to that lead where you've got a tags list. You can customize that list as well, but highly recommend putting the level of distress there, putting high priority, being able to customize your tags to really fit your goal of really identifying, hey, is this a lead that I need to focus on first? And that way, when I tag it and I filter the tags later, which we'll show you, that I can focus on the leads that are highest priority first. So you're driving around, you're adding leads, you're looking. We do have little blue pins on the map. That means you've added the lead, right? That means it's on your list. You also might see little blue dots, which means they're properties that have been on market within the last year. So those are probably, for the sake of this exercise, probably good to avoid, but also valuable information to know. So you're driving around, you've got black dots, blue dots. Now you have these pins of you building the properties here. You're tracking your routes, you're tagging those properties. I did mention you want to take a picture of the house. Like, that is definitely a recommended step as well. When you add that lead, it'll also prompt you and say, hey, do you want to take a picture? Cool, do that really quick, because that picture is going to go into phase 2 of marketing that property. We'll cover what that picture does here in just a minute. And then finally, you had 2 other options to really kind of take this to the next level. You can add drivers to your account. So in the top right corner, you click on your face, you click on team. And if you're on a pro level membership and up, you can add drivers where people like Elliot right here, I just added him as a driver. And then whenever I add him as a driver, he can jump in a DealMachine and start driving for me, and add leads that way, where I can even view his past routes up here and say, hey, show me all of the routes that Elliot drove. Let me see where he drove. I click on that. it'll show me, hey, here's the exact route he drove to add 4 leads, drove less than a mile, drove about 11 minutes, and here's where he covered. So it's a great way to kind of help manage your drivers, help them tell them what looks like a good route, where to go, what looks like good leads. Uses kind of driver management tools as you add one person. And if you want to scale that strategy, like that's how you can really get to doing multiple deals a month is getting to that lead volume using outside help. So we talked about driving yourself, adding drivers for you, or finally doing virtual driving for dollars, which you can click on this start driving button right here. Michael, if you're virtually driving, if you're on our pro level plan, it automatically adds a street picture to the mailer for you. So, that's another way, like you can't take a snapshot of the lead, but it'll automatically add that for you. So, but start, if the virtual driving, you hit start driving, click on anywhere on the map and hit start driving there. And then it's going to automatically import virtual driving for dollars right into DealMachine for me, where I just click down the street, click on the road, look around, look at that house, say, hey, yeah, is this house, you got some, some roof issues going on there. That looks like a good lead to me. Let me hit add lead and move on to the next one. And, just like you would in real life, you're looking for physical distress. You can use the power of data like this too. Like when I look at a house, the data for that house is going to pop up right here where I can see more information about, everything that I would see in the real world. And then be able to add leads over and over that way too. So people were using virtual driving for dollars. I will say the one pro tip we gave out there was you want to compare when that photo was taken of that house to when it was last sold. So you can see hasn't sold for 10 years, but that photo is only a year old. Cool. That's probably a relatively up-to-date photo and sounds good. Move on to the next one. If it's sold since that photo was taken, you probably don't want to add that lead. So that's the quick crash course here. We spent, a full hour really breaking that down, really giving you a lot of good stuff on the first week, but wanted to make sure to just remind you guys, hey, moving forward, remember those pro tips, and then also just view that last training to really get into this stuff. So did I miss anything there, Tom, you think?
No, that covers it. You really have no excuse if you can't get out of the house or if you're trying to do it in another area. Just jump out and do it virtually. I love the integration of Google Street View. I used to always do something called a Google Drive-By, like a drive-by, drive-by shooting. But now, even in the early days, that wasn't that frequent. Now you get Google. Half the major cities, the car drives by every year, every other year. You have a lot more updated issues, a lot more updated photos, and it's just all there for you. It makes it a piece of cake. That integration with the tax records and the listings and all the other data points coming in. That's unparalleled, and it makes it so simple for you.
Yeah, and that's our goals. We designed it to save you just as much time as humanly possible. And then in the first phase, and then the second phase is, hey, we want to save you as much marketing budget as humanly possible by giving you the tools that you need to just get in front of somebody as quickly as possible with the least amount of touch points needed. So what we talk through in the second training is, let me go back to the slide real quick, is day 4 was, okay, now that you've got 100 leads, let's start acting on those leads. Let's start marketing to those leads and do a 2-pronged marketing approach, which again, the 2 prongs were short-term marketing and long-term marketing. And the reason for this being, like, yes, it takes significant follow-up to really stand out. Like the fortune is in the follow-up. Also, people are going to respond differently to different methods. So some people are going to respond to calls. Some people are going to respond to texts. Some people are going to respond to door knocking. Some people respond to emails. It just kind of gives you the opportunity to reach out to people in a variety, kind of like omnipresent way. And the more touch points you layer on top of each other, your rate of getting in front of them and of building a relationship skyrockets. So really looking at the data, that's what we can tell you is combine those 2 things. It's short-term marketing, which we were defined as one-to-one outreach. That's what many of you did for this challenge. You called, texted. I can't remember what all Roger did, but call, text, email. You can door knock again, leave sticky notes, door hangers, like stuff that's going to take one-to-one time and effort from you would be under short-term marketing. And then we combine that with long-term marketing, which is something that scales, something that you can set it and forget and really use technology to execute on and to really automate and do over and over and over again, with the idea being, hey, we want to stay top of mind. So that way, if we get on their radar, if we reach out and, we start to build a relationship with them, And then after that, they think of us. And when they do really have that urgent need and they need to call somebody now today to solve their problem, they think of us because we've been the one that's been staying top of mind this entire time. So that was our goal with this, is to show you how to use technology to help you do those two things simultaneously. And what we were doing here inside the app is, as we built our list of leads, and we've got all these blue pins everywhere, right? Of, we've been driving around, whether it be virtual with another driver, yourself, however you did it, all those leads go to this leads tab. And when I add leads on the desktop or on the mobile, again, this is the desktop, but they both sync up instantly. They all go to this leads tab right here. And when you do that, you jump in the leads tab and you can see, okay, here are properties that I can act on right away. I can use this where I can hit view lead and immediately do something called skip tracing, which, just for people who aren't familiar with the term, it means, hey, ping a database, get pulled back with phone numbers, email addresses, any other physical address, contact information, as a way to act on that and get in touch with somebody. So, and right here, I would come back with phone numbers and its premium skip trace data inside of DealMachine, meaning that you're going to get, caller ID, landline, mobile number, or landline versus mobile, disconnected or connected, do not call list, known litigators list, like all, a lot of data to be able to kind of look at. And you're typically going to get back like 3 to 7 numbers there, and look at those numbers, look at the data and figure out, hey, which one is it a mobile that has the right caller ID that isn't on any list and is connected, let's call that one. So, well, it gives you all that data right there. We also talked about driving a list, which if you use our list builder, or if you have any outside leads, you can import a list in DealMachine and basically combine the power of driving for dollars with any other outside list, where, I can click, let me pull in a list here. I've got 62 leads right here in St. Louis. If I'm on my pro level membership or up inside DealMachine, you'll have this drive this list button unlocked, where I can click on that and say that I want to get out there and door knock, or leave sticky notes, or put a door hanger, something in person. I can click on that. It imports GPS into DealMachine and says, hey, here's a guided drive, the fastest route absolutely possible to get to all 62 properties, and it's going to take you 3.5 hours. And it'll show you, okay, let's plan my day around this. I'll go here, 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 here. Break that down, as I'm going to each place. I also want to be keeping an eye out for other rundown properties around me, so I can keep building my list as I mark it right here too. And that tandem has been extremely powerful for people that are willing to do the in-person touch point. So highly, highly recommend that as a follow-up to keep in mind. And then, that's all the short-term, one-to-one outreach, right? The long-term outreach, the one-to-many outreach would be, okay, hey, say I knocked on the door, I left a sticky note, gave him a call, left a voicemail, shot him a text, all that. Still can't get a hold of him. Well, let's put him on a mailer campaign, where inside DealMachine I can view that lead. Let's see, I've sent that one before. I can hit start mail. And this is why we wanted to take a picture of the property whenever I was driving by, is the picture that you took is going to appear right here on the app, on the postcard right here. And you can adjust all this copy. You can adjust, anything inside of this in terms of the design. We've got 9 or 10 default templates that you can choose from to be able to just automatically send out. It's got pricing and all that here, right here for you. And you can just simply and quickly say, hey, let me fire this out. Let me, set it and forget it, where it's going to send every 21 days, 6 times total. And that way, again, the whole point of this is you want to be top of mind when the timing is right. Like, when we're looking at the data, it takes at least 3 mailers, at least 3 follow-ups to get you over that 50% mark in terms of your chances of getting that call back if that's somebody who's actually going to sell their property. So put that on a campaign. We recommend 6+ times if you can budget for it. But the exciting thing is you can just set it and forget it, let those mail pieces go out, and then you can also monitor and track this and budget for it using our mail tab up here, where you click on mail, jump into mail center, and you can see, hey, I sent 34 postcards this month. Here's the spend that I spent on it. Next month I'm looking at 25 postcards, and here's my spend for that. I can see, the postcards that have been sent, where they are in the process. Have they been delivered? Are they in transit? When was the delivery? All that. Usually it takes about a week from mail print to estimated delivery to get there. So we had all that inside DealMachine. And then the individual postcards themselves, we showed you, hey, you can design different ones, choose from different sizes, even choose handwritten letters, handwritten by a robot through Ballpoint Marketing, one of our partners. And again, these are a little more expensive for sure, but they also have a way higher response rate too. And they're going to get a handwritten letter and envelope like that from you that you can customize the whole way. So,
Matt, this is one of the big hidden benefits. You kind of went over two, but this the second one of them, that if you wind up with a list of something to do, there's a strong chance you ain't going to do it. So the fact that now you just pretty much click the button and it's not only getting a postcard, but it's going to go to a whole series of postcards that are all customized, that you kind of preset in advance. You're going to do it one time. You click a button. Now you're guaranteeing it's done rather than letting it sit on the list of, I'll get to that when I get home. But then you get home and life gets in the way. That's all. I mean, that kind of always happens. So that was what I saw as hidden benefit too. The first hidden benefit was the skip trace. Somebody had made the comment, either by email or in the chat earlier, that they didn't even know what skip tracing was before this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what skip tracing was? Skip tracing was a lot of work. Skip tracing was the thing that when you go driving for deals, now I tend to theme my days, so I have driving for deals Wednesdays. That way there's one day every week that's thematically based on me going driving for deals. But that means I come home with a list of things to do. I got all these properties. I have to look up the owner. I got to look up the information. I got to try to find the phone numbers, try to find an alternate address, and then send them out. Well, with the skip trace button, like all that work that used to be manual, all these lookups on different websites, it's done for me. It's just boom, automatic, boom. All these things are checked. And it's a lot cheaper than even a formal skip trace used to be. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's a giant benefit as well. This just keeps you moving. And that's what's important.
That's a great tip. It's you're building momentum over time. You're having these small wins. You're removing every barrier of an excuse of like, hey, I'm going to have to, I can do it right now in front of me. That's the answer right there. And
done.
And
done
being able to,
is the enemy of perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And even sending mail, like you don't even have to. I mean, that's alone right there. You're at least getting in front of them, and you're starting to build that relationship. Again, you want to. This is a numbers game. You want to keep filling that pipeline. You don't want to stop even after today. Do not stop at 100 leads. Keep going. Keep filling that up. In a week, 100 plus marketing them, that was a sprint. Like you guys did. I mean, especially the handful that like really knocked it out of the park, like Roger, for example. I mean, you guys went full out for this. But what we give you today is a playbook to continue to act on and make a Driving for Deals Wednesday, or make something in your calendar, in your routine, to establish an ability to consistently get out there and follow through and do it on the spot, do it now. So I would say, day one was focus on building the list. Day 4 was marketing that list. Great theme there of like making sure that leads don't fall through the cracks, that you continue to follow up. Like that is what today is all about. Today's live training, we're going to go through a couple different things here. So, and again, make sure to stick around to the end. The grand prize giveaway is going to be the very, very end. But I'll go through this day 7 training of not letting a lead fall through the cracks. I have a quick demo on DealMachine to show you, one, like how to stay organized, how to treat this like a business. If you're following up and you're doing everything you say you're going to do, if you send contracts, if you go on an appointment, if you actually follow through with each thing you say you're going to do, you're going to be better than 80-90% of salespeople out there. Like that, the follow through is where things fall off, is where people, that's where, that's what can separate you from the rest of the pack.
But heroes are made.
Exactly. And using a system, and for us, we have a kind of basically a CRM built in here to help you do that. Using a system to make sure that a lead never falls through the cracks is going to be more and more and more important the longer you do this, because it might not be that hard, when you're talking to like 1 or 2 leads, but as you continue to do this and you need to get more consistent, like if you're going to talk to 10, if you're probably talking to 10 different conversations at once, man, it is hard to keep that straight. Like you need some organization in your life to be able to be authentic in how you build a relationship with somebody and know the problem you're solving for them. So showing that inside DealMachine really quickly here. Again, we're on the leads tab. Again, you've built your list of leads, you've marketed to them. Once you have that in front of you, you can click on any individual lead, and this activity tab is what I want to point you to. Now, the activity tab, that's essentially really kind of like a CRM built inside a DealMachine. You can see here at the main view, you've got things like lead status, which, if anyone's familiar with the CRM, this is basically your pipeline in front of you. Like, hey, does that have marketing? Have you set an appointment? Set an offer? Is it a closed deal, won or lost? You've got a lot of things you can mess with there. You've got some filters right here. So like, I know we talked about tagging earlier, right? Is you can filter by tag and say, hey, show me all of my high priority leads. So that way I know where to spend my time, who to market to first. But regardless, every single lead you look at, this activity tab is where you want to be able to track this information. And when you click on a lead again, I'll show this one more time. Click on a lead, go over here, click activity, then hit add, and you've got notes and tasks. Those are kind of the key things to keep you organized. Notes, simple as that. You hit note. If you have a conversation with somebody, yeah, it's an inherited property. They've got, 2 kids themselves. You can put, personal information. You can put info about what they're dealing with. You can put, again, what are those pillars that you want to ask somebody when you first talk to them, when you first have that conversation? It's timeline of when they want to sell, condition of the property, what your motivation around that property, and then price, get to that eventually as well. And just track all that stuff right here. You can attach documents. You can, include other team members on here if if you've got drivers that you want to clue in on different things. But use all of that right here. Post that note, and then they will continue to stay logged, within that individual lead. So use it that way. Also, the other button I talked about here is tasks. That's the system I'm talking about here. Is like if you want to make sure nothing ever falls through, they're going to always follow through with what you say you're going to do. Use tasks religiously, where you're coming in here, you hit add, you hit task, and say, hey, yeah, they told me to come on an appointment at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let me assign that to myself. Let me put that date tomorrow, create that task. Great. And then every day when I wake up, I can jump in DealMachine, see my task list right here. Got a little number 5 right here. Just click on that and see, hey, what do I need to do today? Oh, I've got this one due today. Cool. Let me do it, complete that task, and move on to the next one. And that's going to show you, hey, now I'm back down to 4 tasks to do that day. So using these things to be able to organize your leads, you can, again, there's a lot of other things you can do here with like filtering and using these statuses and using all of the data on here. But at the very least, just be as organized as possible by taking notes in each individual lead and then adding tasks there. So that way you always follow through and know what to do next. Tom, do you have any tips on your end before we move on like working your pipeline of leads and how you stay organized and, when you're talking to so many people?
Yes. It's a discipline, kind of like anything else. So yeah, I like to do set amount of time for things because there's something about that natural deadline and trying to get things done. So I'll say, look, for the next half hour, done. This is what I'm going to work on. And even if you don't feel like it and you're not quite sure, it's something about setting a clock. Now, I some of my students have heard me say this before. I just take the timer on my phone, and I can be so lazy that I'll literally just hit 33, and I give myself 33 minutes and 33 seconds to press start. And now I work until I hear the bell. And there's something about the time pressure of the deadline. It gamifies it, much like this turned into a game this week, right? The 7-day challenge, but it got you focused and got you moving. So I always like to work up against some sort of deadline, even if that deadline is as simple as my alarm clock going off. So you set an alarm for a specific time, or just set a timer where it's going to end in an alarm. That gets me focused and go, look, I know I got to do this. And put it on your calendar like an appointment. If it's driving for deals Wednesdays and boom, but you got follow-up to do, set it for Thursday, set it for Friday, but make sure it gets done. Set it and have it and treat that appointment as seriously as you would a doctor's appointment or an airplane to catch. Would, because you don't get to reschedule those. Yep.
That's a great tip. I mean, making a time bound is going to motivate you and get out there and, stay focused. So, love it. Like you said, been 7 days of that. So you'll keep taking this discipline you've hopefully enacted in the last 7 days or have started to, and move forward from there and integrate that into part of your life there. So that's the main stuff there. I do want to mention one thing, and I briefly touched on this last time, but one thing that is such a limiting belief for people, and this was a big one for David, our CEO and founder, which we shared his story in day one, how he came to create DealMachine to solve his own problem. But for him, is he felt like with all this information out there and with listening to, YouTube University, and you've got just so much that you can be absorbing and different shiny objects. And I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. It's easy to feel like you need to know everything and you need to fully engulf yourself in that education before you ever take an action. And hopefully you've blasted through that ceiling, through these last 7 days, but that was our goal, is to help you take the right actions where, hey, the more time you spend trying to find great leads and talk to people, and learn from those conversations and lead with, default to action, the more you're going to learn. And it is okay in those conversations. We want to give you permission to say, I don't know, to say, hey, let me get back to you. Give me 24 hours. Let me ask my partner, however you really delicately phrase it. Just know that, okay, worst case scenario, if they say no, you're where you are right now. That's okay. Move on to the next one. But you're going to learn infinitely more by getting out there, having those conversations. And then you have on-demand knowledge, like Tom here, like these challenges, like that is the goal, is to be able to lead with this action, come back and say, hey, what do I do here? How do I get through this? How would you answer this? How would you respond to this? And continue to get those reps in and learn and learn and learn. So
that's a massively key point, Matt, because if you get, if you let yourself get frozen up on something you don't know, and you're worried about what you don't know, but let's say what you don't know isn't your problem right now. Let's say there's 8 bridges to cross, but you don't understand bridge number 6 or bridge number 7. So what? So you don't cross bridge number 1?
Right.
Because you're worried about it. Cross bridge number 1 and bridge number 2, get up to where you're actually stuck and don't know, because then you can figure that out when you're actually in the moment. Otherwise, you're always going to stop yourself from doing anything because you're telling yourself, I don't know the whole process. Don't worry about knowing the whole process right now. Get through this first bridge. In this case, we're talking marketing, right? We're talking driving for deals to build a list, which is marketing. Get over that bridge, and then the other chips start to fall into place. But nothing happens and nothing falls into place if you leave yourself stuck, frozen, and full of fear at the beginning because you're worried about something that hasn't happened yet. So get yourself to the point where you're going to get frozen. Get yourself to the point where you can say, I don't know, but move ahead fearlessly, because you're going to figure that out when you actually get there. Don't worry about knowing everything in advance.
Yeah. One analogy I love is it's like watching 100 hours of Steph Curry shooting threes and then expecting to go out on a court and hit a 3 yourself. It's like, oh, you actually got to put in the reps. You got to do that. So I want to give you guys permission to feel comfortable to say, I don't know, and get out there and learn by doing. I will mention one thing that does help quite a bit is being able to know, like, hey, what's a property worth? What is that ARV? What is that, after repair value? How do I make a confident offer? Because I know that that number at the end. And, Tom broke down a little bit last time in terms of his formula of, what to do with that number. But to show this inside DealMachine really quickly here, we do have a comps tool for you guys that is also, when you click on a lead, you might have seen this already, but here's the activity tab, right? In mail, we showed that. Investments, just kind of tracking some numbers if you want that there. But comps, this comps tool is phenomenal. It's really, really good for being on the go and being able to look at your phone and right in front. I mean, you could do it in a mid-conversation with somebody right in front of you. You can do it on your desktop. We make it really convenient. But confidence, especially for the newbie, comes from data. And it comes from empowering yourself with numbers and helps you approach what can be a scary conversation around price originally. But we just want to give you this tool live anytime, anywhere, where you can jump in immediately and filter your comps, where you click this filter button. You can say, hey, show me all the sold properties, based on MLS or county record data. You can adjust all the settings of, hey, I've got the last 3 months, I've got square footage, year built, range, all that. But I've got that all programmed into here where I'm showing the last 3 months, of sale data. I'm showing plus or minus 15% of square footage. So here's the square footage of my property, plus or minus 15%. I've got year built and, plus or minus 15 years to keep it relatively similar in terms of the build and architecture of it. Bed, bath, and then range. You can reduce that down even further if you like. And once I've got all of that in there, you can see in real time, hey, here are all these dots popping up that are, accurate comps to this particular property. And then if you want to get really exact, you can use this draw tool right here where you hit start drawing. Start clicking around. Let me just get everything in this screen right here. Cool. Double click. And then once you do that, you've got dynamic comps right in front of you where you can comp based on 8 properties, however many properties you want. What I recommend going in here is, marking out the outliers here. So, that one's really high. That one's really low. We've got, let's get this down to 3 or so to kind of show you a little bit of an accurate representation. All right, cool. So now we've got 3 right in a row or 3 right in the middle. We've got an estimated value based on the dollar per square foot of those comps right around you. And, this could be, this can be a really good starting point for that conversation of, hey, here's what the ARV is. But the key is that when you're driving around, you're finding fixer-uppers, right? You're finding rundown houses. So if you can go in here and actually view the property, and let me see if we've got good photos on this one. Yeah, you can view MLS photos of each property as well. So you can show them, hey, yeah, this property, when it's all done up, it's worth $239. But here's the condition of that property, and to get your house to that condition, it's going to take $100K or whatever estimate you can work that math in front of them. So that is a really, really awesome tool to help you know that, hey, I'm going to use data at all times to help just be confident in the numbers I'm throwing out there, and help guide my initial offer around that potentially scary conversation. So Tom, do you have any other advice on
that's another one, Matt? That is such a massive time saver to have that built in, particularly to be able to use one interface nationwide. Normally, I do it out of the MLS, but you have different regions, different MLSs. Some of the systems are better than others. Some work easy like that. Some work difficult. Some don't work at all. Now to have it all in one spot is just a massive time saver. And to be able to do that on the fly, let's say maybe you're at the kitchen table with the seller, and you want to be able to look, quickly and get an idea. Are you even accurate in this negotiation? And you know what your target price is. You can start to run the formulas and do your math and figure out where you need to be. That's just a massive convenience thing. That's another one of these absurd time savers.
Absolutely. So that's something we heard that from customers over and over and over again, asking for that tool. So it's relatively new within DealMachine. Roger, we don't have the export button for that yet, but that's also on the product roadmap here for you guys too. So that on my end, Tom, I was going to jump into here. Let me share this. Those 2 special bonuses again. That was the main stuff I wanted to go over in training. Did you have any other last minute advice in terms of making offers or trying to close deals like that?
Well, the main thing is the same thing with offers. I want everyone to start low and let them being the motivated seller, let them bring you up to their price. If you start too high or you start at your max, you've got nowhere to go. You always start lower, let them bring you up, because then they feel like they won. It's a big negotiation thing. You want the other side to feel like they won. Don't worry, you're going to win, but set your ego aside and let them feel like they won. And so you got to have an idea where you're at. So is what they're asking for out of the gate even remotely feasible? You're going to figure that out from the comps, and then you're going to start low and let them inch you up to where it would make sense for both of you. And then you create a win-win. You're going to solve their problem, and you're going to get your price. And then you have a win-win negotiation because you both got what you wanted. They got rid of a problem. You got your price. You've been able to confirm that with the comps. You've been able to find it by driving for deals in real life or virtually. And you kind of have everything you need here with one tool. So that keeps your life simple as well. You don't have to be jumping around between, 5 different databases and 8 different systems and all these different websites and having all these protocols in mind. You just kind of get focused in on what you need to focus in on. I like to keep things simple. That's why I like this.
Yeah. And I know, Tom, you're truly a master in that sales and negotiating space. You've got, courses and coaching and all kinds of stuff to help people there. So we can touch on that later, but that's definitely, I appreciate you kind of summarizing that. And there's some really good takeaways here in terms of how to use this technology and combined with good sales skills. So I will mention before we do the final grand prize giveaway here, we did share these 2 bonuses throughout the challenge as well. Here was the 7-day free trial. It's just dealmachine.com/Tom. That's going to unlock, DealMachine free for you for 7 days, and then $30 free inside the app, which is a bunch of a couple hundred skip traces, 50 free mailers, all that included inside DealMachine to execute on the stuff that we taught you throughout these 7 days. If you wanted to go full in, you're like, yes, I want to do this. I want to fully commit to more than just a few months. I want to go for this and make this happen and do deals. Dealmachine.com/traction is going to be the best year-long deal for you, where you get 45% off, where you get DealMachine Pro. So that's everything, literally every feature I showed off today, including up to 3 users. So you got some drivers in there too. List Builder, which we didn't really show off in this challenge very much, but that's a way to be able to pull lists quickly as well and supplement the leads that you're driving for dollars. And then, say you're going to door knock, again, like pull a list and go door knock it. Like that's the List Builder add-on. It's the one upgrade inside DealMachine. And then you've got $30 in free marketing. That's the couple hundred skip traces, the free postcards, all of that provided for you right there. Normally through our website, that'd be $1,806. But, for the challenge, you'd be getting it for $990 only for 12, that's a full 12 months right there unlocked for 45% off. So
yeah, I think it's an absurdly good deal because you get the pro level that you get, look, 45% off, 45% off. That's nothing to shake a stick at. And you've had time to use it. Take a look at it. If you love it, use it. And I would jump in on a good deal like this. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Well, then, you had the 7-day free trial to figure that out. But that is, I like this one. It's a great deal. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Yeah. We want to hook you guys up with as much free stuff as we possibly could. So went through that. And now, here are those links again. We pulled up, if you're in the webinar jam, I try to put up the offers here for you guys. That way you have a quick, convenient way to do it. But feel free to maybe take a screenshot of that or pull up your phone. I'll give you a few seconds here. And, on the left side, again, is the free trial. The right side is the 45% off. So, all right. Cool. And again, you feel free to email me if you want help, after this on either of those two. So now, finally, it's time. We're going to do one final $1,800 worth grand prize live giveaway. So what you get, our winner of this is going to get, and again, this is going to be randomly selected. I'm going to pull up, I have everyone who submitted tagged in my email. I'm going to do my random number generator inside there, randomly select that one winner. So the one rule on top of all this is you have to be here live to claim it. So, it looks like we've got a good crowd here still here. Hopefully, hopefully that first one we call is on. If not, hey, you've moving on to the next one. We're getting somebody who is live is the winner for this. So, $1,800 grand prize live giveaway is going to win what we just broke down: a year of DealMachine Pro. So that's, hey, get out there. You're going to get all those features, all the CRM stuff, all the mail stuff, all the, skip tracing, the driving for dollars, virtual driving, we're going to include List Builder as well, a year for free. So all of that there for free for you guys. And then we're also going to combine that with all the free marketing stuff that we talked about, the free skip traces, the postcards, all of that included there. You get the ability to add some drivers. You're going to be out there ready to go, extremely set up to land a deal this year and land many after that. So you'll have all the technology all in one toolkit ready to go, ready to dominate this year and go land that first deal and many after that. So the winner, let's see. Let me pull up the email here. So just give me 1 second, Tom. Should be
more drum roll.
Yeah, here we go. Really give a drum roll here. All right. Got all this here. Pull up the live number generator. Again, I asked you over email, tell us how you're going to use real estate to transform your life and how this challenge has helped you on that path. So that was the prompt for this, to be able to enter this. And you guys were paying attention to your email. You guys were following through with me. Let's see. And then whenever I randomly select this, I'm going to read their email reply, or at least summarize it here for you guys too. So drum roll, please. It's going. Christy Libreezy.
Hey, excellent. Good work, Christy.
There we go. Christy, is she on here? Let's see. It says she's on here.
She's on. I see her.
Oh, you want to jump in the chat and say hello? I'll trade it out if it's me. Sorry, Roger. You did win earlier. That was awesome too. So Christy, it says you're on here. Hopefully you can hear us. You meet the rules of being on here. So Yahoo, nice win. There we go. So yeah, there she is. Yay. Awesome. Cool. Congratulations. Perfect. Good job, Christy. So you're getting a full year of DealMachine. Here's what she submitted. So it said, hey, Matt and Tom, this challenge has reinvigorated my love for finding a deal. I absolutely love driving for dollars, and the tips and tricks we have done with you and DealMachine this week have helped to reinforce this in a very positive way. I gained several potential leads in my little farm area, plus more in new areas as well. Continuing to build my real estate empire will transform my life by freeing me from the shackles of working for others in a way no other niche does. It will free me to help spend more time with my grandkids and family, travel more, and be of service to my community through my volunteer work and the landlord-tenant education I will continue to provide. Thank you so much for doing this challenge and supporting and encouraging us along the way. It was really great time spending the week with you both. Christy, awesome. That is inspiring.
I love it.
Yeah. Christy, great stuff. I'm here. I'm so excited. Fantastic. All right, cool. I know there's a little bit of delay on the webinar jam, so didn't want to give you too much pressure to step up and say hello. But congratulations again, Christy. We will hook you up with this afterwards. Again, you're going to get a full year DealMachine Pro. Be ready to go, ready to get out there, ready to land that first deal and many after that. And then also, be able to get List Builder with that, get all the free marketing credits, all that stuff. You'll be hooked up with everything you need to go make this happen. So I do want to wrap up here saying like, hey, you may have completed the homework. You may not have. It was a dead sprint. It was challenging for a reason. We gave away a ton of free prizes to people who did complete the homework. But even if you did and you didn't win a prize, the real prize again is to go land deals, like to go out there and to continue from here. So you're already getting traction. You've already spent the last 7 days learning that playbook, getting out there, being able to know exactly what you need to do moving forward and going to land deals. So we want to celebrate you first and foremost for taking time out and taking action and acting on this, and not just listening to this and passively taking notes, but actually going out there. And maybe you have been listening passively. That's okay. Like, we are giving you the toolkit. We're giving you the exact playbook you need to run with from here. And we'll share out the replays after this as well. You'll have all the trainings on the docket. You'll know exactly what to do with them. But Tom, where should they go from here? Can you talk about like what you recommend? And I know you help people a ton, especially with sales and your mentorship program. So can you talk through like what your advice is for people from here?
Yeah, one, you got to keep at it. So make driving for deals a habit, right? Bring it into part of your routine, part of your rhythm, your daily rhythm, your weekly rhythm, so that we can continue to make it happen. Now, obviously, what's going to happen as you go is you're going to run into questions, right? You're unlocking the marketing component. Well, what happens when you get stuck talking to a seller? What happens when you get stuck putting a contract together? What happens when you get stuck at one of the other bridges to cross along the way? That's what I specialize in as well, specifically through my Total Traction program. So I have a way, and I think what I put together gives an enormous amount of support on an ongoing monthly basis, because you have an opportunity to talk to me twice a month, both on one is a phone call, group phone call with it's one-on-one attention in the group setting, and then I do a monthly Zoom training as well where I'm teaching, and then I open it up to Q&A. So I think there's probably nothing else out there that at a low enough price point that you can get that amount of direct help and support. So that's something. If you go, hey, I'm moving, I'm running, I'm sprinting, I'm settling into a nice fast pace, but what happens when I have more hurdles along the way? I think you should check out the Total Traction program. Easy way of doing that is to go to tractionrealestatementors.com/total, TOTAL. I'll pop that in the chat as well.
Yeah,
tractionrealestatementors.com/total. Let me see how fast I can type. And there it is. Look, that goes for 12 months. So we're going to spend a year together training you. I'll step you through all the different parts of the process. We cover a ton of marketing, a ton of negotiation, a ton of contracts, control, and getting paid, so that it all builds up to getting you through your first deals, your next few deals, wherever it happens to be. I want to move you up rungs of the ladder from where you're at now. What kind of deals will you be doing? Well, quite honestly, finding deals and making deals and bringing them to settlement, it doesn't matter what you plan the exit strategy. So this works for wholesalers, this works for rehabbers, this works for landlords, this works for commercial, it works for everybody, because the inbound is what matters, and that's where most people are lacking. It's not exit strategy. Exit strategy becomes an odd obsession for people. I'd like to have you, don't worry about which exit strategy you're going to choose. Well, you'll choose the one that's most appropriate for you and your deal at that time. The important thing is that you find the deal, you make the deal, and you know how to control it through getting paid. That's what I teach you how to focus in on. And again, no matter where you're at in the process, I want to be able to support you. So twice a month we're together, once on Zoom with open Q&A after each training session, and once on a pure Q&A call, where you're not only getting your question answered directly by me, but you're also hearing everyone else's questions and the direct answers I give them. So that's twice a month. So basically in the next year, we'll be working together 24 times. So I don't want to leave you high and dry, have you in there so that you're able to reach out and keep a rhythm with that as well. Because obviously those calls, those trainings act as deadlines for you to have things done by as well. So it's all built into that type of process. If you hit that link, tractionrealestatementors.com/total, it's normally a $6,000 program. The price has been reduced today for this, so you're down to basically $2,500. So I would jump on that now. It's a perfect complement in with your DealMachine system as well. So you've got a great way of finding them, and then I'll show you how to continue to find them, make them by negotiating great deals, and getting them under contract and getting paid, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. That's what I was going to add too, is like you said, we taught you how to go feed that machine, with those leads. Now it's your turn to go close them and, build off of that. So Tom, definitely want to echo what you said there. Love what you do with your students. It looks like Roger in the chat just said, if you're new to this or have been doing it for a while, Tom's class is worth it, ! So yeah, I'd love to see you've got students in here too.
Roger's probably about 2 months in to the program, and I'm just really happy to see him winning, because he always does well, asks a ton of questions, implements ideas. I mean, he sent a note about one of my simple, really kind of idiot-proof simple ideas, and he started implementing it at his meetings, and has watched the success on that just grow. I put it out to, I don't know if Roger knows this, I mentioned that to the students at my training a few weeks ago, and somebody sent me a note the other night, and 4 people at their group were doing the same thing. But again, that's not competitive with each other. All 4 were achieving great success with it. It's a really simple, straightforward idea. So Roger, that was the one you emailed me about as well, and sent photos if you're doing it. So that's the kind of, I want to teach simple, structured, step-by-step methods of getting things moving. So you can take the marketing you're getting from DealMachine, negotiate them into great deals, take those lukewarm leads, turn them into red-hot deals, and know how to close them so that you get paid.
Love it. Feed the machine, the DealMachine. Nice, Jake. Love it. Love to borrow that one. Awesome. So again, keep in touch with both of us. Make sure that, consider me a resource as well. It's matt@dealmachine.com. Again, when you land that first deal, reach out to me. If you're open to being on our YouTube channel, would love to add you to the list and be able to really feature you and give you some shine as well. Happy deal finding. I will leave this one up here with the QR codes for you guys, so that way you've got that if you want to take advantage of either of those 2 things before we sign off for the last time. I'll send out these replays over email. I'll make sure to keep in touch all those ways, and then we can take some Q&A here. I tried to pin a few of the good questions, Tom, if you have a few minutes. So.
Got you. Yeah, by all means, let's do it. I haven't been keeping my eye on the Q&A, so let me
all good.
Let me start to dig through. So Mark's, who was our winner from the other night, asked me, what do I do with my free time, since so much of this is automated now? Mark, that free time for the most part goes back towards my personal goals, which are lifestyle goals. So it's more time with the kids and the family. And I know that everything's taken care of and I don't have to worry about it. So I can kind of enjoy that free time, without feeling guilty about, I got to do this work, but I can't be at a kid's sports game. Or I can't be spending time with my wife, or I can't be, right? It's just, I don't have to worry about that because I know everything's taken care of. So I yield back the balance of my time to my lifestyle, which is the whole point of the way I've built the business to begin with. Let's see. Roger says, can you mark somebody as called or answered or a voicemail left?
Yeah, so I can knock out. It looks like most of the other ones are DealMachine related, so I can knock those out real quick. First, my boon. Let's see. Can you show how to send a mass email? So we don't actually send mass emails. You can send one off, where whenever you skip trace a lead inside DealMachine, it has a click to copy email, and it kicks you into your email client for you to send it. So we make it really simple and easy and convenient to do it, but it's not a mass email send. I will say, and this kind of answers a couple questions here. You can, in order to, like we said, hey, Michael, and can you print your list from List Builder? I can show inside DealMachine, if you're going to mass email or print the list, this export your list button, where I can select literally all 15,000 leads if I would like, go to lead actions, and then go to export leads right here. From there, you can export them, and it turns them all into an Excel file or a CSV file, and you can print that, or you can email from there. Like, you could feed that into your email client and send that out. So Mai and Michael, hopefully that helps you guys out there. That export leads button right there is definitely something that helps us kind of play well with everything else you're doing. And then Roger, when you asked, or Tom, you asked Roger's question, can you mark it as called? That kind of goes with Michael's other question too, of like, hey, why doesn't List Builder retain the check mark for follow-up? What I can show you here, if you ever want to mark anything, custom like that, like Roger asked about called or Michael about follow-up, what I highly recommend is creating, using the tagging system. Like I know I showed the high priority tag, but inside DealMachine, you can click on in the top right corner, click on yourself, and then go to application settings, and then custom, where are we, lead tags. And then you can create new tags. You can say, hey, this is a called lead. Cool. Create that tag. Or, hey, I followed up with them. Create that tag. And, you can use either the lead status as well. Like if you want to say, hey, I follow up status right here, Michael, as one example. Or the tagging. I use tagging for a ton of stuff. Like I over tag just because it just makes it easy to track everything. So I can go in here. If I call them, cool. Mark is tagged, or tag them as called, and move on to the next one. And that way I can then, go to filters and say, hey, let me create a filter and go by tags. And all these tags I've been creating, the high priority tags, all that stuff is going to be right in there, and be able to confirm, apply it, and then boom, you can be able to look through and filter by any of the tags that you're doing. So use that as kind of like the default organizational tool. And hopefully Michael and Roger, that kind of answers your question there. So that looks like the main last question that I'm seeing. Let's
see. That's what was in the Q&A. I think something's wound up in the chat as well. Let's see.
Yeah, tags are definitely easier than dragging into lists. I agree, Roger. And comment shown, it exports all of your list whenever you export. Exporting your notes, I'm 95% sure it does that as well. I know we were adjusting what all comes out when you export a lead. Use me as a resource, Matt at DealMachine.com. And, if you ever have a question on that stuff, or if it didn't work a certain way, just, at the very least, I can point you in the right direction on my team. So
that works. I think we did hit all the questions there.
Look at us.
Hey, not bad.
Nice.
All right. So that leaves just making sure that you don't interrupt the momentum, right? You started, we've given you great momentum for a week. Yes, it's been a sprint, and it's okay to settle down into a pace, but that means a pace means movement. That doesn't mean stopping, right? So you got to keep, don't let a good thing die, right? You've gotten good movement. You know what you're doing. You've gotten some speed going. Maintain a pace, because that's how you're going to get to success. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Think about that for a minute. Look how many people have walked away with great stuff already from this, right? Leads to follow up, appointments to go on, deals are going to follow through on. That's going to be you too if you stick with it. If you stop and do nothing, you're going to get nothing. I can make that guarantee. So we've got you moving. Don't break the momentum. Keep moving.
Yep. You put a lot of effort in this, a lot of time. You've educated yourself. You're seeing traction. You're if you haven't followed through on the homework, that's okay. Time to act on that now that you're fully prepared here. But we want to keep it as straightforward as possible. Again, lead with action. Have on-demand knowledge, like working with Tom, to be able to ask about what to deal with and how to continue to learn and deal with different situations that you're presented with. But lead with action, and you're going to have success down the road. So. Linda, last question here. The phone calling, do you recommend any like dialers or anything like that, Tom?
I've got some students that were using some what they call like a war dialer. So at least it hits a few at the same time. I don't have any specific recommendations. A lot of what I've seen, the stuff seems to come and go. Test out any you think you like. If not, just kind of the old-fashioned way. Pick it up and start dialing.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Well, this has been a really fun 7 days. Plus the kickoff originally, so 8 days. But
8 days.
Yeah, Tom, appreciate you, man. It's been fun and great group. Like, love to see you guys taking action. So I will again send out these replays ASAP, and make sure to keep in touch and keep building momentum from here. Go find those deals.
Fantastic, Matt. Thanks for everything. Thanks for great training. Thanks for absurdly generous prizes. And and an absurdly generous offer on it as well. So, folks, let's make some noise in the chat and tell Mr. Camp many thanks. Many thanks indeed. So, yeah, it's already good. You guys all beat me to it. So, yeah, Mark, thank you so much. You guys rock. Jake, thank you. Tom and Matt. Tiffany, thank you. Roger saying thanks again. Michael's, thank you. Yeah, all of this. Alita, thank you. Guys, you're all very, very welcome. It's our pleasure. We like seeing success and getting things moving. I think Matt, I don't think I speak just for myself. I think I know I speak for you too. There's something really nice when you can train somebody on something and watch them be successful with it. It's a different kind of feeling that you can't get anywhere else. Like, wow, I've got that person moving and they're doing it, and this is great. And that's kind of it's addictive. It's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And those little wins keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So keep lining up those small wins, and it gets fun. And then it gets more fun from here, I'm telling you.
Awesome. Well, good stuff, guys. We'll leave them. Those offers are still open right now as we go. Mm-hmm. Jump on board. And then Matt, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for everything. Thanks for a great week, a great challenge. And we appreciate everything that you did for us.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. And, have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and happy deal finding.